Many of us are familiar with the concept of irony. That is, when you go in expecting A and suddenly you get an outcome that is Z or Z, which is opposite of what you initially expected. So, regarding the movie Coolie, I'm sure all the Bollywood fans know that director Lokesh and team in various interviews over time have repeatedly clarified to the public that Coolie is not part of Lokesh Cinematic Universe, not part of LCU. So he didn't. I mean, both Rajini himself wants something fresh because Rajini himself is a universe, right? And Lokesh also wanted to do something fresh without the pressure or the unnecessary anticipation or fans' hyper imagination disturbing him when he wants to make a movie, right? So the whole LCU thing was becoming like almost a burden rather than a pleasure or Easter egg for Lokesh Kanagaraj. Okay, so that is the narrative that they brought us along. But just like in any good movie, I'm sure some of or many of you know about the movie The Sixth Sense by M. Night Shyamalan, starring Bruce Willis, and the very beautiful twist in the story, right? Everybody gets wrong-footed. All the audience gets shocked about, oh, this is what actually happened, right? So the greatest way to trick your audience is to lead them in one direction and suddenly turn in a different direction. So what would motivate Lokesh Kanagaraj and team and maybe even superstar to do that? Well, I think it's circumstances also play a big role because Lokesh and Rajinikanth, although big brand names onto themselves, their combination is still it's a first time combo, isn't it? So for them to pump in the kind of money that Lokesh would have wanted, the initial story felt to us like some kind of a science fiction or time travel. Why? Is because Lokesh said that this is a genre that Superstar has never done before, right? And everybody was kind of excited. So we were thinking it's a multiverse. MCU means not LCU. I'm talking about different kind of universe or this pattern of science fiction kind of time travel kind of script seemed quite interesting, and it was in trend also. I mean, the famous movie by Adik Ravichander with Vishal and S.J. Surya. So the time travel thing was kind of trending as well. The project was started with that vision, and they wanted to initially rope in cinematographer Manoj Paramahamsa for as the guy who did Leo for the project. And Manoj is someone who's very how to say into tech and latest gadgetry and all that. So this kind of experimental filmmaking, this kind of IMAX type of thing and all would be right up Manoj's alley, right? But I think somewhere down the line they realized they bit off more than they can chew. If you want to do a full good quality science fiction kind of project, even something like Indiran back in the day in 2010, I think was it then. So you require a lot of planning and preparation and also experience. So for Loki, who usually do fast-paced action films which happen over the course of a night and so on, so for him it might be something a bit too big to handle. And so maybe they had a rethink, because if you watch Lokesh Kanagaraj's interview with Sudhir Srinivas recently, he himself said that the first script they worked on for about 2 months period, he became a bit less motivated, and he talked about it to Rajinikanth that he's not so excited after 2 months, and Rajini listened to his proposal and agreed to go with a fresh new script and concept. My thought is that the actual film that they want to make initially, the science fiction film, shot in IMAX, shot in multiple countries, maybe they are putting it on cold storage first for now. I think they might use a similar strategy like Jailer 1, Jailer 2, whereby you do a smaller version of the film so that the team can gel together, look at the chemistry between the director and the hero, and audience reception, right? Maybe there will be some small Easter eggs they'll put on this Coolie film, which might explode in a part 2. Because from a business perspective, the culture of making part 2, part 3 is become very strong after Bahubali's success. Back in the day, in the 80s and all, there are many very good Tamil films, super hit films, and we fans were wondering, hey, they should make a part 2 of that film. That's so cool. But that, like, never almost happened, right? Except for maybe some exceptions like Kamal Hassan's Japanil Kalanaraman, in which it is a part 2 film. I think didn't do that well compared to part 1. So that time in Hollywood, you had so many Rambo 1, 2, 3, Rocky 1, 2, 3, and you name it, aliens, and every film will have a big budget film will box office hit will have a sequel. Okay, but now they needed someone locally to show it to them, and after Rajamouli did Bahubali 1 and 2 and showed how sequels and that kind of a massive project can give a lot of financial return. So now all the producers are already thinking from that angle. So if you have a good, how to say, technically demanding project, so it's very sensible that you test the waters by doing like a smaller scale project first, and then you go into the bigger one once everything's established. So that will be the strategy, I think. So what's this have to do with the LCU? Well, what I think is that if this script is quite radical or different from the original science fiction plan, right, or if the science fiction element they're thinking of expanding on it in part 2, this can be a kind of a LCU expansion. There's a room for them to play around with that, because what they promised to us, the Loki as well as the team, was that that initial project is definitely not LCU, right? So now Loki, if let's say you are Lokesh Kanagaraj, right, you invested your energy and your ego into the LCU, everybody knows about it, it's a brand. For you to just abandon it is a thing. So, well, some might call it bait and switch, where Superstar came on board for idea A and suddenly they switched to idea B, but still, if it's a good idea, right? So now Loki is at an advantage here because the media, the audience are all not expecting LCU. There's a big surprise element, and let's say when the film releases, LCU elements come in, it's going to create euphoria, it's going to create hysteria, and you're going to see theaters overflow. So if I'm a producer, director, team, I would definitely propose such an idea to tease the audience, to keep them entertained and excited. So I think that LCU can come into this, right? In terms of story and script writing, Lokesh Kanagaraj, I don't think he's the strongest. He, I think, relies a lot on fast-paced, fast-moving action scenes, using retro music to amp up the excitement, doing the movies at night, lots of technical, how to say, refinement, Moko boards and all that. So in that way, he keeps the audience engaged. So movie making is not so much about story as much as it is about presentation, right? You ask Bhagiraj, a famous director, a great script writer, right? So if you just write the story in one line, it might even sound boring. Say a husband and a wife having a problem, extramarital affair problem, right? It sounds like boring, but the way you present it makes all the difference. So although Lokesh Kanagaraj stories might be so even Leo was criticized heavily for the second part ridiculousness, but again, why did it still give decent box office numbers? Because the pacing, the presentation of the heroes, the dancing, the action, see, all this also plays a big role in entertaining people. Okay, so who could Rajini be? Could he be Surya Rolex's father? We saw him use 2 choppers. Surya used 1 chopper in Vikram. Rajan is using 2 choppers in the mutton scene. Maybe some biryani element involved, we do not know, right? So maybe some kind of Basha Bhai kind of a thing going on there. But yeah, so share in the comment section, guys, what kind of LCU expansion could Coolie be if Lokesh Kanagaraj chooses to do that? Surya's father, perhaps?